So when the brand that I'm partnering with today told me to go ahead and pick out 10 to 12 pieces of my choosing, and so obviously with this, I was like a flipping kid in the candy shop, you know? So like the kid in the candy shop, I was excited and giddy and, quite impulsive. So when I received the pieces that I was going to build my fall capsule wardrobe with, I realized I had gone wrong. So I can definitely tell you where I went wrong, which was impulsiveness. Usually I'm very intentional with capsule wardrobe building. I always use sort of my 5-step method, starting with an anchor piece. And I didn't do that this time. I definitely was choosing pieces based off of emotion and excitement, impulsiveness. So what went wrong? I knew it wasn't the actual pieces of clothing that were the issue. But if it wasn't that, what was it? So today's sponsor is Fabrique, and Fabrique is probably one of my favorite up-and-coming brands right now, for the reason that I feel like it's the closest I've ever gotten to like a runway designer, and that's ultimately because they're collaborating with well-known designers, many designers coming from iconic brands like Hermes or Dior, Louis Vuitton. So they know a thing or two about design, The other thing I love is that most everything comes with a limited run. Now, although that may be frustrating because you have to sort of be on top of it before they sell out of things, I love the idea that you're getting something a little bit more special. But then on top of that, it's all at an accessible price. So here's a perfect example of high-end design. What I love about this piece is the beautiful clean lines, the beautiful tailoring, but still just has like a really yummy drape to it. There's still some really good movement. Along with that, I love a sneaky little detail, and this has that. So this is one of the pieces that sort of shocked me the most, definitely stepping outside of my comfort zone, but it just pulled me in because I think there's just such simple elegance to it. I love that it's elegant and feminine, yet it's oversized, boxier silhouette. Definitely gives it a little contemporary twist. And I like that it's light and airy yet cozy with its mohair blend. And what I love about his design, especially specifically with this cropped trench, is it's just very architectural. It just definitely makes for having some fun with some interesting silhouettes. I love that these designers are combining, sharp tailoring with streetwear. It allows for it to be paired with really anything. If you do like these pieces, definitely check the link down below and use my code to get a little discount. And you'll see why I keep partnering with them and why they make me so giddy as a brand. Okay, so all the pieces are beautiful, elegant, immaculately made pieces. So again, the question is, what went wrong? Well, after further dissecting my wardrobe, I realized there were 4 different issues that needed to be addressed. First issue being no color story. Now, as we all know, Mama likes a bit of black, white, and gray. However, every once in a while, I do like a sort of color-themed capsule wardrobe. But I think even with a neutral color palette, you need a color story. More so meaning, what are these colors saying? What are these colors telling people? What sort of mood are they conveying? The next issue is clothing gaps. Yes, we are missing some key categories within this capsule to make an actual outfit. The next issue is things don't circle back to each other. Within a capsule wardrobe, you need everything to work together. That is what makes a capsule wardrobe. That is the whole point of a capsule wardrobe, is for everything to work together and for the work to be effortless. If we address the first 2 issues, I think it will pretty much take care of this issue. And the 4th issue, I think I'll save that one for later. make this a lot less overwhelming. For me, I'm defaulting to my 5 capsule wardrobe building steps. It should ultimately help us to address all of the issues that we have. All right, so step number 1 is anchor pieces, because the anchor pieces are what determines the rest of the wardrobe. They are the foundation to the wardrobe, and it's what you are going to revolve everything around. So for me, I think the obvious anchor pieces here are my icy blue pieces. Clearly, Mama was on a tangent because they all match my Prada driving shoes. Yes, driving shoes, not boat shoes, thanks to a lot of you who commented on one of my videos correcting me, and I'm very happy that you did, because I want to be accurate, and it's always fun to learn something new. So anyways, I love that these all tie in with those shoes, because I love a good tie-in, because these are sort of our pop of color and makes it a nice little jump off point. Now we know kind of where we're headed. Okay. The next step is pairing pieces. Just as they sound, they are the pieces that we are going to pair with our anchor pieces to complete an outfit. So I think here we already have 2 bottoms that can easily be paired with our sweaters and our button up. So that's sort of a good jump off point. I think here the issue of our gaps is glaring, because it definitely shows we are missing some tops to complete these outfits. Because all these pieces are elevated kind of on their own, I'm just picking 2 basic tops, because we don't need to distract from these beautiful pieces. We just need to kind of accent and be sort of a backdrop to those pieces. I'm choosing 2 black tops because I feel like black grounds things, especially for me, who's not like a big, huge color person. And as well as that, it adds that little touch of edge that I love. Next step is layering pieces. We're in a good place with that because we already have a cardigan and a pullover in our anchor pieces. However, I chose another sweater from Fabrique, and it has navy stripes, which I love. So I love that it's kind of tying in some more blue, but just a different shade of blue. So didn't even try to do that. I like that this kind of adds another option because these are more light and airy. I like that this is a little bit more warm and cozy. So I feel like you cannot go wrong with a black blazer. Again, because I think it grounds a look, it frames a look really nicely, and I like that it's just a basic classic piece that again is not going to distract from the other pieces. So next is our top-off pieces. Yes. Yeah, top-off pieces are normally your outerwear, your jackets, and your footwear. So we're obviously in a good place because we've got 3 options here. The thing that I will say, like, as I see these things here hanging, we're kind of getting there with the color story, but I do think if we're playing like which one of these doesn't belong, there is one that is sort of sticking out like a sore thumb, and that would be the Beatrice short trench. I absolutely love this jacket, but I think just for the color, I don't think it's right for this module, for this capsule wardrobe. Although I do think In a world, maybe it's in somebody else's wardrobe, maybe it would. But for me, because I think the gray, greens, and the blue are sort of the only two colors that I do bring into my wardrobe, I normally do not pair them together. Because for me, it's just too much color. That's just me. So, but it's my capsule wardrobe, so I can do what I want. So what that leaves us with is a chocolate brown and a like caramel brown or cognac brown. So it definitely gives that like warmth to the coolness of the blue, which I love. So I love that contrast. You know, I love a contrast. So anywhere I can get a contrast in, I will. But then we do have, again, that black coming in to sort of ground it and balance it all out. So of course, we're gonna throw in the Prada driving shoes because it is the whole purpose of why I chose this icy blue. Some people say that tying color together is a dated styling tool, but if tying color in is wrong, then I certainly do not want to be right. To kind of be the counterpoint to the Prada driving shoe, a lugged loafer. These are obviously bringing in the black, again, grounding our looks, giving our looks that beautiful frame, that beautiful sandwich of black. And it brings in that masculinity with the lugged sole. So it's a great way to contrast a lot of the femininity that's happening in there. And then as well as that, I kind of always like to have an option, an elevated option, pun intended, with a heel or just a shoe that like if you're going to like a certain event and you need something a little more jazzy, you have an option for it. They are also going to bring in sort of a youthful bit of edge, which I think is going to be a great contrast to the sophistication of the wardrobe. So we've gone through 4 of the steps. We'll get to the 5th. But let's kind of just reassess for a quick bit. We have definitely addressed the color story issue. We've got 3 colors, which is kind of my go-to, is like 3 colors. That sort of tells a story, right? So you've got like our nice icy blue, our pop of color, then sort of warmed up with our cream and brown, but then grounding both of those with the black. So now everything to me, color story wise, makes complete sense. Like this, I get, I'm like, I see it, you know, I see the story. So then the issue of the gaps we've addressed, because I think the biggest gap we found was the tops. So our 3rd issue was circling back to each other. Like everything didn't quite circle back to each other. But now that we've addressed that color story, we've addressed the gaps, everything makes sense to each other, and everything that can be paired together can be paired together now, because we've made sure that everything works with the anchor pieces. And therefore we can do any sort of combo, throw any of these top off pieces on, you know, layer anything together, and it's gonna work. So our last step, which is sprinkle pieces. Sprinkle pieces are the accessories that you sprinkle in at the end. And there it is, the missing issue. What was it missing? Me. And I think by bringing in my signature pieces, my go-to accessory pieces, it therefore brought that bit of me into it and making it feel not only like a well-rounded capsule wardrobe, making it feel like a style story that I am excited and proud to communicate or express to the rest of the world.
And now I'm not alone anymore. And my home is in your arms. Oh, and my home is in your arms. And my home is in your arms. Oh, and my home is in your
So now it's got me thinking. I'm not sure there was ever anything wrong. It just wasn't finished yet.